Scissor Sisters are an American band who were formed in the year 2000 and are currently active, but there have been breaks in their career. They were formed by Jake Shears and Baby Daddy as Dead Lesbian and the Fibrillating Scissor Sisters, but they eventually settled on just Scissor Sisters. They soon asked Animatronic, who ran an eccentric cabaret in New York, to join them, and they gained a couple more members. They released their first album in 2004, and audiences were more receptive outside the US, especially in the UK and Australia. They have released 4 albums in total. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the debut album by Scissor Sisters. I know it fairly well because I got a CD of it at the time and I've listened to it relatively often, I would say. So I usually start off with trying to pigeonhole an album. Wikipedia says this is glam rock slash electro clash slash new disco, say slash commas actually, and acclaimed music, which is the list that I'm working from, says dance pop and pop rock. I'm happier with the acclaimed music description than with Wikipedia. I would say that yeah, there's kind of soft pop, soft rock here, and dance pop, electro dancey stuff. It's kind of unusual. So there are there's almost like there's 2 modes to them. So there's the soft rock singer-songwriter kind of feel, which is very Elton John, I would say. Like Mary, Laura, Take Your Mama, which was one of their biggest hits, and quite a lot of the tracks on the album, to be fair. Some of them kind of get into the dancey beat a bit more, but there are and have got elements of electronic stuff in some of them. But then there's a couple of them that are full on electro pop. So I would say Filthy slash Gorgeous and Comfortably Numb are very, very electro. Filthy slash Gorgeous is my favourite song on the album. It's a total banger. And yeah, I really love the use of the bell they have just before the chorus. Yeah, a bit of genius there. Comfortably Numb is unusual because it's a very strange version of a Pink Floyd song. Now, they apparently they reckoned it would be what a lot of people will call Marmite, which is either people will love it or they'll hate it. Um, Weirdly, I think maybe I'm not one of either of those categories. I don't love it. I also don't hate it. I, it reminds me of the original, and I like the original, but when it does that, it makes me think I want to listen to the original, not necessarily to this version. But yeah, it's okay. Um, there's some back to the rest of the album as a whole. There's some nice grooves. There's some really nice playing, especially bass, which is a thing that I notice more than some people do, and some nice piano points. Mary's got a really nice piano sound at the start of it. Most of the singing is, I believe, by Jake Shears, who can sing quite normally and sounds like, I'm going to compare with Elton John again, sounds like a young Elton John, or he sings falsetto and things like, I don't really know who. I can't think of anyone. I keep possibly coming back to the Communards and I can't remember his name, Jimmy Somerville. But no, it's not the same. But it is just because it's falsetto. But yeah, I think maybe it's just unique. If you can think of anybody else who is very much like, please do stick that in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I think Animatronic only appears singing on the song Tits on the Radio, which is a curious song, but most of the songs are curious. In fact, I would say generally they're inspired by some kind of outrageous nightlife gay scene kind of thing, but that doesn't really do it justice. But I found it hard to kind of express what it is. Overall, it feels kind of flamboyant. It's larger than life. It's got this kind of hedonistic uh, backing to it. Uh, did I enjoy it? Yes. The fact that I have listened to this album, having the CD, quite a few times, is because I do enjoy it. It's musically creative, it's fun generally, and it's lyrically quite interesting. It's not necessarily expressing things that I would agree with, but I don't necessarily think that that's a detriment here. There is a downside, I would say, to this album, is that I don't think it hangs together well as an album. It's a bit too split personality, and it's a bit disjointed. And this isn't something that because sometimes I'll have these thoughts when, if I've got an album that I'm fairly familiar with, I will listen to it again for my review, and then I'll have thoughts. And then when I read stuff on that I haven't had before, but I think I feel like I've always had that thought in the back of my mind that it's just a bit janky in its put together as an album. Put together is not a great word. Sorry for my grammar. I don't much. Anyway, so that's what I think of this album. I quite like it, and the best tracks on it are really really good. I think that there are some that are a bit kind of less. Um, as always, I'd like to invite you to tell me what you think of the album. So please do that by leaving me a comment. And that's it from me for now.
Walking down the street and a man tries to get your business.